Hello and welcome back to Club 1 part 16 of our Let's Play on FM22, where we attempt to go from non-league football to winning the Champions League. Fortunately, winning the Champions League seems a long way off at the moment. We obviously got relegated with Blyth Spartans in the last episode. If you haven't seen that one, go back and have a look at that now. And the fallout looks like it's going to be substantial already. That's a lot of players that want to talk to me, and they all want to discuss their future, which I assume means they want to leave. For that though, we have got the season review. Oh, this will be an interesting one this time round. They're normally a very pleasant experience, but this time I'd imagine not so much. Have a look first of all at our transfers. I mean, there literally isn't anyone with a green average rating. Jack Young's been quite good this season. He's played a lot of games. Salu came in halfway through the season, has been reasonable. Kane Richie Holzler, who seems to have a star there to be signing of the season, but has an E on the board transfer reactions, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Never mind. Jake Turner came in towards the end of the season as well. Jacob Grattan I thought was quite good, but the board aren't happy with that either. Never mind. Moments to remember. Oh, I don't think there is a lot of them. You know, we were meant to fight bravely against relegation. I don't know if we can say that we did fight bravely. We fought, we lost, we got relegated. There's not a lot more to the story than that, but looking at the results here, as you can see them scrolling above my head, there's a lot of poor ones. There's a lot of red in there. Not anywhere near enough green. We only actually won 9 of our 46 games in the last season. Our biggest win was in the FA Cup against Chester. We won that one 5-3. Our match to remember was a 3-1 win against Woking, which was way back in November. And then the goal of the season, which we do always like to watch, was a goal from Ramshaw. We'll have a quick look at that one. That's probably a little bit of a highlight for the season, to be honest, because again, not a lot of those realistically this season. So we will have a look and see how good this goal was. We can see we did lose 4-2 here, but it looks like at least we got a good goal out of it. Through to Ramshaw there, through on goal. It's just a very, very simple, long through ball for him to drill home. And that was our goal of the season. I have seen better, it wasn't bad, but having a look here at the reputation, it's not really changed this season. We still have a local reputation of 1 star. We're not really that well known. If we're looking at the annual revenue though, this is a bit concerning for the club. Our sponsorship has gone up as you'd expect with a promotion, but everything else has gone down. Broadcast revenue is less than last year. That could be because obviously we got to the playoffs and we got to the FA Trophy final last season. So that probably brought in some broadcast revenue. But corporate and hospitality is down. Competition prize money, match day revenue. I mean, competition prize money is down substantially. This is what we're considering our best lineup this season. But we've had to chop and change so much that I don't know how much I trust that, to be honest. So we are going to pretty much ignore it. Accolades then, Brown Sterling is the fans player of the season. He's also the young player of the season. I think that's for the 2nd year in a row. Signing of the season is Richie Holzler. We got goal this season, we've obviously already seen. Brown Sterling was our top goal scorer with 13 goals. The most assists was Mick Hatie with only 5, which is pretty horrific. Highest average rating was Brown Sterling, who actually managed to get a 7 average rating, which is quite impressive, to be honest, given our form. David Harris is now our youngest ever player. We saw him make his debut at the end of last episode. He did make his debut at the age of 15 years and 304 days old. And Kane Richie Holzler is our youngest ever goal scorer at the age of 19. Club Vision expectation meeting then. So I haven't actually seen this yet. They want us to play high tempo pressing football, defensively solid football and possession football. That is obviously going to be a little bit easier now. We're going to be down in the North League. We need to work within the wage budget and they want us to reach the playoffs as a minimum. So a bit more of an expectation than last time we were in this league, where we were just expected to not get relegated. Now I probably need to go and talk to all of these players. Yeah, I'll be back in a bit. Well, the result of those conversations is interesting, to say the least. It just means we've had to make a lot of promises to sell players, essentially. I mean, we have managed to negotiate a decent promised fee for them, if that makes sense. So for example, taking Jack Young down here, we obviously got him on a free. If we can get a bid of £55,000 for him, then I guess, you know, at least we've made a decent financial benefit off of him. But we have a lot of players here who want to leave. We've also got Kane Ritchie-Holmes at the top, who's unhappy we're not playing him on the right as a winger, which is absurd because that's exactly where we play him. And he's also only given us 8 days now to fulfill that promise, which is going to be difficult considering we haven't got any games in the next 8 days and the season has ended. The other interesting thing that's happening is we're now getting emails about takeover talks. Now those have been happening pretty much since we started with Blyth Spartans. They've been a thing that have been pretty constant. There's always been talks of a takeover, but now it does look like it might finally be happening. And we might be getting a new chairperson. I hope they are as lenient as the one we've currently got, because I think a different chairperson might have fired me last season. I quite like this club. With that though, it's time to get over and start making some transfers for the season ahead. We're going to go rebuild Blyth Spartans, and we'll be back as soon as we've done some of those transfers. Okay, wait a minute. Before we continue any further, I need to ask what my board have been smoking, and this is just for this reason. Last season's successes remain fresh in our memories. Please explain to me what successes we had last season. We got dumped out the cup and we got relegated. While I'm happy you're happy with me, show some ambition, lads. So we're a little bit in the future and some important things are happening. Most important of which is Yeovil Town have offered us a job. Now there's one problem with this. Just to show you Yeovil a second. They finished, I believe, 6th last season. They finished 9th the season before. I'm pretty sure I saw earlier they finished 6th. So they got in the playoff spots in the National League. So they are in the league above. The problem here is the wage that they want to give us. So £575 per week. For context on that, our current job at Blyth Spartans pays us £775 a week for a team that is in the league below. So although I would be interested to go over to Yeovil, you're going to have to vastly improve that offer to probably around that sort of amount, and I can't see you doing that. No, they've instantly gone, we're not paying you that, mate, off your trot, which is kind of what I expected to happen. So it's interesting we have got the job offer, but equally that was never going to happen. It doesn't make any sense to move to a club and then get paid less money. While it is arguably a step up in terms of reputation and the club's stature, I'm not going to do it for less money per week. That doesn't make any sense to me. Transfer wise, we have got players leaving the club left, right and centre. So if you arrange this by date, Rob Hark, who hasn't been with us very long, is already gone. He was complaining and wanted to go. We got him on a free. We sold him for £2,000 to Tranmere, who are in the National League. So he wanted to go because obviously they're in the league above us now. Rise Evans, who really didn't play a lot last season, he wanted to go. He's gone to Dutchell Hamlet on a free. His contract was ending at the end of this season anyway. Jack Barrett is another one who's ended up going. He's gone over to Southport in the National League North, so he's actually going to be playing in the same league as us unless Southport have just got promoted, which is possible. Dan Maguire, another one, he's gone over to FC United, who are in the same league as us now, National League North. We've got paid 1.1k for him. He only played 5 games last season, and in my time at the club, he's only actually scored 6 goals for us. So I'm more than happy for him to, you know, trot on and get a little bit of money for him. We haven't got anyone actually brought into the club yet, so we're going to continue trying to work on that one. Back in a sec. Right, so obviously the transfer window does remain open until around March, I believe, in this league. But I think our transfer business is now more or less done. So looking at the outs first, obviously we've seen Rob Harker. Jack Young did end up going to Forest Green for 25.5k, which I guess is a nice bit of profit for us. It is very, very unfortunate because at 22 years old, he definitely was a player we could have built the team around for the future. But he was determined he was going, and there was nothing we could do to stop him Again, very, very unfortunate, but it is what it is. We've had to let him go, and we're just going to have to live with it. On the inside, we did start bringing in players. This is going to be divided into two parts because obviously this switches over to the new season in a second. It's always really confusing within a transfer window. We've got Jacob Bulmer coming. He's an under-18s goalkeeper. He's one I'm just popping in the under-18s ready for the future. He's 2-star current ability, 5-star potential. He actually looks all right as a goalkeeper, and we can see he's starting already since he's been at the club to get those nice upwards green arrows, which does mean he is progressing along nicely. Pierre Fonku, he's a little bit of a weird one because you can see he's available on a free transfer. Essentially, he came in on a non-contract. He was scouted by my scouts as a 4-star player and came in at 2-star and was instantly released again back into the wild to fend for himself. Wasn't good enough for the club, but if you see him on there, that will be why. Robbie Fraser then is coming to be a left back. He obviously looks like his best position is a complete wing back. We'll be playing him as a wing back on support, and again, he's one very much how we're trying to build the squad this time round. 3-star ability with 5-star potential. If we're having a look at his report, he has the potential to be a Sky Bet League 1 standard player, and that's kind of what we want for this window, is ideally the bulk of our players to have some decent potential and be players that can carry us up the league, keep us in the National League, so on and so forth. We've got Harry McHugh. Harry McHugh is on loan from Wigan. He's going to give us a bit of depth in midfield. He's best as a central midfielder. Again, he has bags of potential. He's currently a 3-star midfielder. He's got some decent attributes. Notably here is 12 first touch and his 13 passing. And again, he's going to just be a little bit of a squad depth player. We don't want to use him as our main midfielder when he's on loan because we want to be using our own guys. We've then got Cole McKinnon. Now, Cole McKinnon is showing up as a right back by trade, but we're going to be paying him as a deep lying playmaker on defend. And the reason for that is the fact he's got 15 tackling, but all of his other attributes are kind of reasonable for that. And I couldn't find a really, really good deep lying playmaker, so this is the guy we're going to use for that. He's got 16 determination, which I always like to see in a player. 17 balance, so kind of his notable attributes. 15 tackling is the best we could find for a deep line playmaker when we want to play them on defend. And I'm hoping, again, because he's got room to grow, that we can just improve that passing and first touch and make him into a top tier deep line playmaker for us at the club. In the second half of this transfer window, then we can see we've got a couple more outs. Michael Liddell has gone over to Athlone Town on a free, and Rob Ramshaw's gone to Dutchwell Hamlet for 6.75k. Very shortly after he joined us. Obviously, he would have been a good player to keep because he is quite good in that deep line playmaker role that we do use in midfield. But again, he was another one that didn't want to stay, was very vocal about not wanting to stay, so we've let him go. Dutchwell Hamlet have had a couple of our players. I'm not sure what league they're in. They're in the National League. So that's a step back up for the players that have left and gone over there. And these are the rest of our ins. We've got another loanee in Sam Bird. Again, he's very much just a backup on that right hand side should we need him. He's here from Fleetwood. He does have some very, very good potential should we need him. 15 heading, which is very strange for a right back. It tends to be they're not very good at heading, but you know, as it turns out, Sam Bird is quite good at it. He's got good marking and good tackling, so I think he'll be very, very capable when we do use him on that right hand side. We've then got Jake Leake. Jake Leake is probably going to be our backup left back. Again, he's got some really, really good potential. He's coming in as a fringe player on a non-contract. And attributes are a difficult one in non-league, so it's probably not the best thing to have a look at. But again, he has got the potential to grow into a decent player, so if we do use him, I think he'd be a very capable deputy to our main left back. We've then got Lewis Pitan. Again, it's another one. There's a couple of central defenders here that we've pretty much brought in as sort of squad depth options because they've got decent potential as well. He's a central defender. Again, if we have a look at his report, potentially Sky Bet League 2 standard, so he's someone who definitely we could build into the team should we need to. Marcus Lawrence is in much that same vein. He can cover at right back, but is best as a central defender. And as we can see again, potential to be a Sky Bet League 2 standard player, which is very much what we do want in the side. We've then got John Bellahone again. It's another one. He's not got quite as much potential as the others. He was showing up a little bit better when we scouted him and before we signed him, but we had to sort of make his signing before somebody else did. He offers cover at left back and will mainly play as a central defender. He's pretty capable all round. He's got decent jumping reach with heading, which will help with those balls that come over the top or come in as crosses, and crosses was something we conceded a lot of last season. Isaac Fletcher, one of the better signings we've made this summer. I think he's best played as a central midfielder. We'll probably end up playing him, I believe, as a box-to-box midfielder is sort of my plan, and he's pretty decent at all of that. Again, he has got the potential to grow a little bit. He's coming on a free. He was previously at Middlesbrough, and then he did have a loan spell at Leyton Orient, as we can see in Sky Bet League 2. They think he isn't decent enough, but he's a National League standard already, so the league above us, and he could improve on that, so hopefully he's going to be a very, very important player for us. We've then got Patrick Gamble. Patrick Gamble, again, as we can see, 2.5 stars, 5-star potential. We're using him as a central defender. He can cover at right back, but we're probably going to be mainly using him as a central defender. Fantastic jumping reach, pretty decent marking, really good tackling for this level. I think he's going to be a key player for us this season, and at 19 years old, with a fairly professional personality, could be one that we use for a couple of years yet before we need to upgrade. Again, he's got a Sky Bet League 2 standard potential. And my favourite player that we have bought in this transfer window, Matteo Mejia. Now, Matteo Mejia was a free agent. I think he's previously of Manchester United. It is Manchester United. He hasn't actually ever played any professional football yet. Man United paid 600,000 to bring him over from Spain a few seasons ago and have never done anything with him, not loaned him out, nothing, which is really, really unfortunate. He's coming in, I believe, to be probably our first choice striker as an advanced forward. As we can see, he's got 13 finishing, 11 dribbling and 12 first touch, which is a nice holy trinity I like to get out of my strikers, and those are pretty good attributes, I feel, for this level. He has got some decent acceleration and pace as well. We're hoping he will be a very, very important player for us this season, yet to be seen. He is Colombian, so he's essentially a non-league Colombian wonder kid. Maybe that is overselling him a little bit, but never mind. Potential to be a Sky Bet League 1 standard player. He's definitely someone we could build around for a few seasons if he comes good. The only problem with him is he is at the moment classed as a settled player. He is going to need a work permit to continue playing by January. So he actually failed his work permit when we applied for it, but obviously he doesn't need one yet, so we've still brought him in. Hopefully by January we can get him a work permit. If he can't, we're going to have to reassess what we're doing. So heading into the first game of the season, our squad is looking like this. This would probably be our lineup for the first game of the season. It's James in goal, Fraser, Bellahorn, Gamble and Sharif as our back four. We've then got Brookwell, Fletcher and McKinnon in midfield, Grattan out on the left, Burgess out on the right and Mejia up front. What is good with these is we've got a little bit of wiggle room on all of these. Brown Sterling can play most positions pretty well in that front three. We've got some decent depth in the middle as well. For having a look at over here, actually deep line playmaker might be the one that we do need another player. Brown Sword can play there, as can Fletcher or Sharif, but it's not all that is sorted really. We've got McHugh who can play in midfield alongside a bunch of other players. In an ideal world, we get some more squad depth in there as well. We've obviously got Sam Bird who can play over on this right hand side should we need to put Sharif into that midfield. In centre of defence we have still got Brown Sword who can go in there, Jake Leake can play there as well, and over on the left hand side obviously Fraser starting, Jake Leake can go in there, Bellahorn can go in there as well. On this left hand side we have Scott Brown Sterling, as I mentioned. Jordan Sue we can't actually sell at the moment because he's injured for between 6 weeks and 3 months, so he's kind of just here at the club at the moment. We've also got Richie Holzer who can play both sides. Seb Quirk is still here if he does need to go into that right hand side. Ideally we're probably not going to use him much, but he is on a long contract, so he's just kind of going to sit there. And club finance wise we have still got most of, if not all, I don't think we spent any money, our transfer budget, and we're currently spending 7.5k on wages, so we've got £3,000 spare. Makes a bit more sense if you have a look here. So we've got a little bit of room still to bring in players should we need to. But for the moment, that is our summer window done, dusted and ready for our first game of the season against Chester in Thursday's episode. Let me know what you think of our transfers in the comments down below. I think this is probably the right thing to do, sort of build for potential rather than current ability, which give us a better chance of building these players up ready for the National League should we need them. If you have enjoyed today's video, please do drop a like down below. It really does help out with the YouTube algorithm. And thank you for watching. If you can't wait until next Thursday for more content from the channel, why not have a look at this video next?